Today we arrive at Psalm 100. We're 100 days wiser than we were at the beginning of the year. Congratulations on making it this far. Only 265 to go. Today we're looking at Psalm 100, verses 1 to 3. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all the earth. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing, knowing that the Lord, he is God. It is he who made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people, and the sheep of his pasture. We're instructed to sing our way into God's presence. Worship has a goal. It is to bring us into the presence of God. The goal of worship. It has to bring us into God's presence. It has to bring in the presence of God. Singing songs isn't the point. Connection is our goal. Our church services do nothing if they don't bring us into the presence of God. In fact, if they don't bring in the presence, then they're counterproductive. They leave us poor and empty and exhausted because we end up burning unholy fire, using our own energy with self-generated worship. Worship has to unite us with the Spirit of God, bringing us into full union with Him, into communion, mingling our lives with the life of God. And Jesus said, the time is coming and now is when the true worshippers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth, for the Father seeks such people to worship him. So don't come before him without a sacrifice of praise. He's looking for your worship in the Spirit. And Psalm 100 provides 4 foundational elements of worship. First, it acknowledges that he is Lord. He is God alone, that there is none who come near him. He's got no origin, no beginning. There never was a time when God didn't exist. He fills the universe and everything beyond it. He is uncreated. He has no limits. He has need of nothing. Before there was a why or a where or a what, he was God. No other can claim that. There is no one and nothing that can claim all of that. That makes him the only one worthy of our worship. That's the first thing. Secondly, he made us. We didn't make ourselves. The very first affirmation of the Bible is that God is the creator of all things. This is the basic presupposition of Scripture. Everything God created, he made out of nothing. Creation, or creatio ex nihilo. Before God decided to make us, there was nothing at all, but out of his great love and wisdom and communion, he chose to make, to invent, to establish life, to create the world and everything in it, and then he decided that he would make us to enjoy it. We've got it all because God decided to make it so. No man can make life. The mad scientists in their laboratories trying to clone life and make life in a test tube, they still can't make something out of nothing. Now let's now make this personal. You think that you've made something of your life without God? You're fooling yourself. Your pride is making you blind to how involved God is with each and every one of us. You can't even take a breath without him. That's the second reason why we worship him, because he made us and everything that we are. Thirdly, we are his people. Not only has he made us, but he's redeemed us and made us for himself, made us his people, his kin. We sold out to the enemy, but God has bought us back through his Son. That's why we worship. The incarnation means that we're not so different from him that we can't relate to him. I worship because he saved me. I worship because he loves me. I worship because he chose me. That's the third reason why we worship. And finally, it says that we are the sheep of his pasture. Worship arises from hearts conditioned by our environment. In other words, our pasture. That's where he feeds us. That's where he instructs us. That's where he cares for us. That's where he refreshes us. That's where he shepherds us. The world doesn't know about this pasture. Only we know about this pasture. And that's why we worship him. So these are the 4 foundations that create the worshiping heart. Remember this, and you can't help but be a worshipper. Do this, and you'll ensure God's presence is all around you every moment of your life, every day of your life, now and forevermore. God has made you a worshipper. This is a lesson in wisdom, really. It helps us to be humble, to understand that we don't get anything out of our own efforts, but it all comes as a gift from God. Everything you get is from him. So God bless you. Enjoy him and worship him and come into his presence with thanksgiving in your heart. And we'll see you again tomorrow.